Well, welcome to today's edition of the Counter Press with me, Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. I'm very grateful for you to join me. Today is a quick post-match reaction of Chelsea's um, summer series games versus Brighton and Hove Albion. But first of all, I'm going to give you an update on Moises Caicedo. So let's get straight into it. Moises Caicedo, as it stands now, there are plans to have face-to-face meetings between Chelsea Football Club, the co-sporting directors, Lawrence and Stewart, to meet with Tony Bloom and other top-ranking Brighton directors to try and arrive at the middle ground for Moses Caicedo to Chelsea Football Club. So that's the update with respect to that. I'm sure in the next 1 week that is going to be done. Chelsea just need to meet the evaluation of Brighton and Hove Albion. There is no buyout clause, and once they are the selling club, they dictate all of that. So Chelsea just needs to get that done, and I think it's just a matter of time that is going to be done. But let's go straight into this summer series from Chelsea Football Club and how good they've played, bro. So first of all, it was an exciting game of football. Brighton and Hove Albion finished on top of Chelsea last season. They are playing in Europe this season. Chelsea isn't playing. Coming into this game, there was a lot of tension between Chelsea Football Club and Brighton because, Roberto Di Zerbi in his pre-match press conference was clear that he wants Moises Caicedo. He would even love to have Levi Kowal. That Chelsea fans feel that was Brighton and Hove Albion, seemingly a smaller club, trying to be arrogant with respect to that. But then he had every right to say that he wanted to keep his best players in his own right. But again, you go into the game in itself, and there was a lot of intensity, like we've seen from Brighton last season. But most especially with Chelsea, Mauricio Pochettino took over the team just a few weeks ago. But he has been very, very good in terms of the fitness of the boys. They kept on running constantly. The counter press was one of the best, especially in the first half when he went into that 4-2-3-1 that we see him play in, with Ian Matheson playing as a winger. On the other side, there was Sterling. Then there was Nkuku right in front of them. There was Kani Chukwuemeka as a number 10. Then in the two holding row, there was Andre Santos and, of course, Conor Gallagher. So the back four for me was Thiago Silva, Levi Kowal. It was very, very good because, on the ball, Chelsea was able to go straight into the 3-2 shape of ball progression, where you either had Malo Gusto, Levi Kowal, and Thiago Silva forming the base of three. Then right in front of them, there was Conor Gallagher and Andre Santos. I have loved Andre Santos' love for the ball. He shows up to receive the ball and then turns into his quick transitions, finds Kani Chukwuemeka in those left and right hand spaces. And with Nkuku's very good hold-up play, it made it excellent. Now, the other part of the game was that there was Benjamin Chilwell, who always kept the width as another outlet. So anytime we're progressing the ball, there was that 3-2 phase of ball progression. Benjamin Chilwell kept on the width. But whilst the ball moved from the first to the second phase, he did a lot of good inside or underlapping runs, sometimes even overlapping runs. And this was a lot of threat to Brighton and Hove Albion. I should also add that in the beginning of the game, Chelsea had started good, but Brighton did take over. Their counter press was the best. But you can agree because they have played under Roberto Di Zerbi for a very long time. The point of view of this analysis is how good Chelsea have been, especially post that Wrexham game. This was going to be a game that was going to be difficult because against Brighton and Hove Albion, they are one of the best teams in the English Premier League in possession last season. Also very good in attacking transitions last season. So how were you going to fare against them? Chelsea and Pochettino were very smart. They knew that they could not go toe-to-toe 90 minutes of Brighton in terms of pressing and counter press. There were times where they sat in that mid-block and waited to win off the ball, set pressing traps for Brighton and Hove Albion. And that was clear when in the first half, Kani Chukwuemeka picked up the ball in the central area and then sought to play in Raheem Sterling. But then that ball was late. Raheem Sterling was flagged offside later on and Chelsea could not get that goal. But let me talk you tactically through the very goals. I mean, first of all, it was a brilliant goal from Brighton and Hove Albion in that set-piece routine that they played with Billy Gilmore, Kairo Mitoma, and then, of course, Danny Welbeck getting the job. I think that was spot on. But while that is said, I think this Chelsea's reaction, that was good. And again, Chelsea's reaction and goal came from Benjamin Chilwell's width and then depth in attack. So he did that so well. There was always too much. There was always enough depth and width. And once he kept the width and there was enough depth, he was an outlet to receive the ball. Benjamin has the best of pace as well. So once he received the ball and quickly he kisses ahead of him, his pace is able to help him win the ball. And that's exactly what sets that goal on a silver of platter for Nkuku is very good in that regard as well. So that was a good equalizer from Chelsea. And the first half from that point in time was a little bit stalemate. It was end to end. Everybody was sizing each other. Then in the second half, Chelsea makes the changes. Thiago Silva goes off at some point. Chelsea switched to a back three at some point in time where Chelsea had Trevor Chalobah, Levi Cole, and then another centre back. I think that was Malo Gusto. So in this position, I think what interested me most, especially with that goal from Jackson, is the invertedness from Kukurea. So if you realize on that goal, Mark Kukurea comes inverted, receive the ball in central areas. Once he picks the ball, he finds very good transition and very good line breaking pass, because of course Jackson has that pace and then goes onto his back, because you know that Brighton were going to press high. If they press high and you come inverted to become an extra man in the central areas to receive the ball, now you overload Brighton in central areas, then you play through their press. Once he got those balls through those Brighton bodies in the center of the park, Jackson, what a beautiful finish that was. But mind you, we have always mentioned the importance of our midfield. Andre Santos was good in the first half. Cesare Casadei was next level in terms of his progressive carries, in terms of his press resistant abilities. I mean, he's taller. And he's a little bit taller, but he's able to hold on to the ball even when he's being pressed and try to be tackled. And that is so good for a midfielder of his age. Same for Kani Chukwuemeka, who was brilliant as a number 10 right behind Nkuku. Those two were playing some sort of an inside number 10s. If you have these two and you have a proper attacker in front of them, let's say Nicholas Jackson, then you are good to go. And that's what makes it even exciting if Mohammed Kudus is going to join Chelsea Football Club in the summer, because then that is what is going to happen. You have two inside number 10s for Chelsea Football Club, in Nkuku, Mohamed Kudus, then Jackson right in front of him. You can even play with he can play the Bernardo Silva role for Manchester City, where he comes off the right wing, comes inverted with his dribbling ability, low center of gravity, technical ability, and his love for those central areas. That will also make him fit the Dele Alli role in the central areas on Chelsea Football Club. So it's an exciting piece of game, essentially. Chelsea wanted to play out on the back. There was a lot of intensity. You can see that the boys are fit. Enzo Fernandez came on for a few minutes. It was good. Levi Cole, we said it time and time again, that if you want young centre backs, left-footed young centre back, that are good at the very top, then Levi Cole is in there, because whilst his on the ball ability is spot on, his defensive attribute and action is also almost impeccable. His transitions in defending, his aerial duels winning, his ground duels winning, his going into tackles. I mean, he's so good in that regard. And I think that essentially was also a good one. Cesar Casadei I've mentioned, Kani Chukwuemeka I've mentioned. And yes, I think I need to mention that one of a player who was not very exciting for me on the night was Raheem Sterling. I think Sterling has a lot to do. Sterling really has a lot of work to do. He didn't really show what we've seen from him. I think Chelsea fans expect more. In this game I saw Chelsea, Sterling was a little bit there was a lot of mistake in him. Almost every now and then Sterling was making some mistakes. Times where he was supposed to shoot, he was passing. Times he was supposed to pass, he was shooting. But of course we hope that he comes good. But for me, Nicholas Jackson was exciting, very, very exciting. I've said it, that for a player like that, his hold-up play, the ball just sticks to him. He knows how to find an in-running player, and that was very testament to the Mihailo Modric goal. The ball goes out to Modric. He comes inside, find Nicholas Jackson. But then, mind you, Nicholas realized that he was on his run, and this is their first game together. He finds Mihailo Modric on the half turn, sets him up the ball into a very good angle, and that was the thunderbolt of a goal from Mihailo Modric. So that was another beauty from Chelsea Football Club. Then, yes, I've not mentioned the take on Conor Gallagher. Yes, Gallagher does a lot of work, has a lot of energy. It will take some refining from Mauricio Pochettino for him to get to the very top that we expect him to be. I think that he can be good. I think that he will really be good when it comes to how good he can be for Chelsea Football Club. So essentially, it was a wonderful game of football for Chelsea and Brighton. But Chelsea are building on something very special, and I think that with time we can go forward. So thank you very much for joining me. Do what to like, subscribe, and share on Fiifi-Manfred on Facebook, Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube, Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Yeah, Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. The Counter Press at Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Kindly like, subscribe, and share. I'll be glad to hear from you. Thank you very much. See you.